we happen to have started in Canada, but we're actually running in about, more than a dozen countries now. And so what we're going to do is, over the course of this year, you're going to be able to see a company that's in about 10 spots in Canada that has the biggest market share. And it's going to launch a bunch of new products because we'll be allowed to as the year ends. And I think that company on a medical and rec basis, when you just look at what happens in Canada, you'll say that is an awesome business. And then what we'll have is a whole bunch of side spend, meaning R&D for global outcomes, putting up assets in Europe, rolling up our U.S. activities that are legal, fully legal, meaning hemp and anything else possible. And so you'll see this great thing in Canada, and you'll say, I like that. I like the fact you're spending in other countries, and you don't need to make a profit because you have about $4 billion US in the bank account. Spend it and dominate. And so I think that program is something people should expect.
Hey, Bruce, interesting week on House Financial Services Committee this week. A subcommittee took a look at opening up ways for the cannabis industry to get access to banking. Did the needle move at all, as far as you can see?
Yeah, it is. We have a lot of people watching and working on the U.S. file. And what's happening is hemp now is governed. And I think what they're trying to do at the federal level is to find a way to bring in banking, but also just to bring in all the instruments that would be normal course. And as soon as that's by state permissible, we're all in. And so that's where players like Constellation, as part of our funding source and our activities with hemp, all of a sudden blend right together. There's no discussion about this disappearing, and I'm not sure there's an active discussion about it being federally legal everywhere, but I suspect what states are doing will start to be governed in a way that puts us in play.
So Bruce, looks like you sold 10,102 kilograms of pot during the quarter. I guess a mix there of recreational and medical. First quarter since Canada legalized it. Was that what you expected? And what other color can you tell us about how the rollout went and where people's preferences lie?
Yeah, so the rollout started where the feds said what you can do, and the states had to each come up with how to sell it. And so it was a pretty limited platform. What we observed, though, and what we planned is that if people can go into a store, know that the products are federally permitted, tested out 100 ways, and actually have a conversation with an informed, educated person, meaning they've been trained and certified, they will come back and buy more. So we're seeing that by province, which means that we have about 90% of the country to put up those stores and keep opening up. Because it was legal at every level and covered so extensively, I think the demographic is from top to bottom, every age category, and their openness to now thinking about medical has opened up quite a lot. And so this is a very interesting experiment unfolding in Canada, which I suspect over the next 10 to 50 years will be repeated in every geography that wants to quit ignoring cannabis and actually monetize it and regulate it. And that seems like what governments tend to want to do.
Bruce, let's bring it back here to the U.S. You recently announced an investment of up to $150 million into a hemp production facility in New York. New York City recently started cracking down on the use of CBD in restaurants. Does that worry you?
No, so the reason we're going to New York is the most progressive jurisdiction in the U.S. on the governance of hemp to CBD. And they're standing up their rules to say that it has to be produced, controlled, contained, have a supply chain, can't make fake claims like if you put 2 shots in your coffee, you're going to be smarter for the day. Like, you really do have to get more value for your $7 than is being promoted. And so the regulators are saying we're cleaning up the platform so that we can actually roll out products that have a real market. And I would say when you look at things like regulated state-level marijuana in places where you are, like California, a big challenge for the people trying to follow the state rules is that the ones that are not following the rules aren't being shut down. And so I think you'll see good governance in New York and great products and a really good launch platform.
Bruce Linton, co-CEO of Canopy Growth, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.